Have you wondered what it takes to succeed in the Forex market? What are some of the careers you can explore in this space? Hang in there, and that's exactly what we cover in this episode of the Zista Podcast. Welcome to the Zista Podcast, where we invite people from the industry and academia to answer questions that students have within a specific subject area. Today, we're going to be going deeper into the Forex market, and joining me today is Himanshu Singhal. Let me start with a small introduction. Himanshu has completed his postgraduate in management. He specializes in finance and treasury. He did a course from ACTM UK, and he's actually been part of the founding team at Kotak Mahindra Bank for the treasury function. He spent 19 years at Kotak. I think he joined as a trainee and worked his way up all the way to an executive vice president. And he's actually donned several hats. He's worked in almost every aspect of the treasury domain, everything from ops, technology, process, systems, and of course, sales as well. He's set up the derivatives back office, and he's been really played a key role in promoting all their foreign exchange products and working on their digital trading platforms. In the year 2022, Himanshu took a leap of faith and became an entrepreneur. And what he's really trying to do is to democratize the access to real estate investing by setting up a platform, for people to invest in global real estate. So thank you for joining me today, Himanshu. Really delighted to have you on this show.
Thank you, Amit. It's been a pleasure to talk to you and looking forward for an insightful discussion.
Absolutely. And, I think students are going to be enjoying what they're going to be hearing from you. You're actually a subject matter expert when it comes to Forex. And, we're really happy to get your time to come on this podcast. So thanks for that. So let's jump straight into it, right? So a lot of people are wondering about the careers that are there in the Forex market and, what they can do to succeed. But let me start with something more basic by asking you, how does Forex trading work?
So before even we delve into what is Forex trading, let us try to quickly understand where does Forex market fit in the banking system.
Right.
Now, as a bank, let us say if you were to start a bank today, the owners of the bank will pool in $100,000 rupees in this context.
Sure.
All of this money is, let us say, coming from the owners of the bank.
Right.
Now, you as a corporation walk into the bank and say, I need money.
Right.
And keeping the guidance of regulatory requirements, bank will be able to lend you, let's say, 80,000 rupees.
Okay.
Now, then you walk up to the bank and say, see, I need 80,000 rupees, fine, but I need 50,000 rupees and I need 30,000 rupees in dollar terms.
Got it.
Okay. Now, this is where the bank's Forex treasury steps in.
Right.
So bank's Forex treasury will go and borrow dollars equivalent to 30,000 rupees.
Okay.
So this function is called balance sheet management.
All right.
Okay. And then comes a situation where you will say, see, I've borrowed money from you. My business is increasing and I need to import some stuff from the US. And can you help me purchase these dollars?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is when the bank's Forex sales team steps in.
Okay.
Okay. I was part of the Forex sales team for a good part of my career. And so I will talk to you. I will understand what is your requirement. When do you want to purchase dollars? What is the amount?
Right.
I will go and purchase the dollars.
Sure.
Okay. On your behalf and remit those dollars as per your instructions to a relevant corporation in the US. For your purchase of laptops or whatever systems, right? Now, when I have to go and purchase dollars, I can purchase dollars from a Forex trading team, which is called the interbank.
Okay.
So to summarize this part of it, there are three teams. One is a balance sheet management team, which manages the borrowings of the bank.
Sure.
In foreign currency. Sure. Second team is the Forex sales team, which manages the advisory and sales to a corporation like yours, like Zista Education, for example. Sure. And all of the execution of Forex happens at my desk in support with the Forex trading desk.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is the broad three broad functions. Now, let me dimension and put up a layer again on three of these functions. The Forex balance sheet management team does not interact with the outsiders.
Okay.
They only
It's an
interact
internal
with the
function.
customer.
Got it.
Internal function. Forex sales team talks to internal functions as well as external people, which is the corporations, individuals.
Absolutely.
Okay. And interbank trading team talks to internal customers only.
Okay.
So the reason I brought this layer is to help understand people that what are the skill sets inherently required for these three separate functions.
It will be great if you can cover that, because I was going to ask you about that. And, the way you
Yeah,
started this, I would love for you to just continue and explain that.
sure. So the primary skill set required for a balance sheet management unit is to be able to understand how bank balance sheet works.
Right?
Okay. How international markets are working with respect to the borrowing situations.
Okay.
Okay. In the current scenario, if I were to combine it with the current scenario of interest rates being hiked across all over the world, it is very, very important for that resource, for that person who's working in balance sheet management unit, to be able to understand how interest rates are affecting the currency,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and the risks involved therein in terms of, let us say, if I were to borrow from a US bank, okay,
Right.
there is a possibility that US bank has a limited risk limit on us. Basically,
Okay.
what is the amount of borrowing, the amount of lending they can give to us.
The maximum exposure they can take to you.
Maximum exposure, yes. Second is there are situations when we are surplus with dollar funds and we have to give a deposit. It is also important for the same team to understand what are the maximum exposure we can take on another bank.
Right.
Now, interestingly, these exposures actually start from the country limit. What is the maximum exposure as a country we can take it? Then on a particular country, then the maximum exposure on a particular bank, so on and so forth. Okay. So in this role, the knowledge of various Forex borrowing products, the knowledge of how trade finance works. Now, trade finance, let me give an example of a trade finance. Again, going back to the example of Zista Education looking to purchase some stuff from the US. And but Zista says, I don't have money and I need to have some trade finance support.
Okay.
So there are products where you do not do borrowing just for anything. You do a borrowing specific to a requirement.
Got it.
Now, so where the transaction will be, Zista will finalize laptops from Dell. Kotak Mahindra Bank will approach Dell's bank and say and inform them that we are good to give credit of $100,000 to Zista Education. So, basis that the confirmation, Dell basically supplies the laptops to you,
Got
and
it.
this is the product name is called letter of credit.
Right.
Okay. So technically in this transaction, Kotak Mahindra Bank has taken a risk of $100,000 on you,
Right.
and a risk of the currency movement also, obviously, right? Uh, uh, so this is a trade finance support. Okay. So a knowledge of how trade finance works in international markets, how balance sheets work, is the ultimate platform on which any person will work on this.
Okay.
More often than not, treasury, I've seen lately started hiring freshers also and grooming them in the zones. I'll talk more about this in the Forex sales part of the discussion. Um, yeah. So the first one is we discuss a balance sheet management role where what are the skill sets required? It is
Sure.
internal function to summarize, and knowledge of financial statements, financial markets, global markets is really important. Okay. Any questions you have?
No, no,
Follow-up
it
questions for
makes
me?
sense. And I would say that in that entire mix, there would also be, you need to have a good knowledge of economics, because you have a lot of that also at play. So I would think it's a multifaceted, you need to have knowledge on multiple subjects, right? And constantly stay abreast of different developments that are happening. So I think that's really interesting. But please carry on, Himanshu. You were moving on to the next role where you were looking at talking about the skills in that space. So please carry on.
Sure. So the second one is a forex sales role.
Right.
Okay. Now, forex sales role is sits beautifully between the function of the balance sheet management, the forex trading, and the corporation. Now, this is, and I have spent bulk of my career here in terms of interacting with the outside stakeholders, internal
Right.
stakeholders.
Okay.
Now, I'll talk a lot about this in much detail. Now, as I started, the bank started on a particular day. The owners used in 1 lakh rupees. Um, uh, Zista Education is one of the corporations, one of the customers to this bank. And now, Zista Education's all and every requirement is handled by a team which is called corporate banker. Now, this
Absolutely.
team will look at your bank account opening. This team will look at your borrowing requirements in rupees, borrowing requirements in dollars, borrowing requirements in trade finance products, any challenges you're facing, everything they will look at. They are your relationship managers from the bank.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So whenever you need any services from the bank, you will ideally speak to them first. Okay. And that is when, let us name that person Prakash in our
Okay.
discussion. And so you will speak to Prakash and say, Prakash, I need to purchase $50,000 worth of laptops. I need about 20 lakh rupees of loan. And could you help me with these? So Prakash will internally speak to me and say that Zista Education needs $50,000 worth of laptops. They need to purchase dollars. So can you please speak to them, explain them what is the right time to purchase those dollars?
Because it's a big sum and your timing would make a difference, right?
Yes, yes. Okay. So here I have brought in Prakash as an internal stakeholder
Mm-hmm.
who is a relationship manager with this education. So this is one stakeholder who I will interact regularly with.
Right.
Okay. Then, and the second person I will interact is with you, representing this education, talking to you about markets.
Right.
Okay. In terms of the actual execution, I will come back to you. Then you will tell me, okay, fine, let's purchase the dollars on 16th of June. On 16th of June, I'll speak to my interbank trading team. I'll take a quote from them and I will relay that quote to you.
Right.
Okay. So let us say our, the quote which comes to me is 83 rupees on a dollar. I will quote that to you and I will freeze the transaction.
Correct.
Now, in all of this arrangement, as a treasury salesperson, it is really important for me to understand your business. Okay. So the knowledge of businesses is very critical. A successful treasury salesperson is the one who understands markets, how those markets affect a business, understand businesses, what is the relationship between the global market and that business.
Okay.
Third is the understand the requirements of the business in terms of growth.
Okay.
Okay. You may not really give an opinion whether such education should expand in Europe or something, but the role will be very, very critical when you say, okay, this tells him that we are expanding in Europe. What should we do to borrow?
Okay.
That's when I will again step in and say, okay, should you look at borrowing in India, sending money from India, or should you look at borrowing in Europe, borrowing from there and using the funds over there and spending money over there?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Now, here comes again another nuance of understanding your business. I should be able to, when you're seeking a borrowing suggestions in India or in Europe, it is very, very important for me to understand how do you earn money?
Sure.
How does your firm earn their money in India? What is the component? What is the portion of earning money in India? Is Europe a pure cost center? If it is a pure cost center, then it makes sense to really borrow money from India and send it over there.
Sure.
If Europe is a profit center,
Right.
then obviously you are earning money in Europe, and then another nuance comes in there. What is your credit rating in Europe? What is the cost of your borrowing in euros, whereas cost of borrowing in India?
Sure.
Please do highlight in case you feel it's going a little more technical. I'll try and simplify it as.
No, it's fine. And I think, what I really like is that you're using examples. And I think when you use examples like this real world case or this real world example you're using, it becomes easy to understand the concept. So I do not want to interrupt your flow. Rather, I'd encourage you to carry on. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thank you. So, if you look at this whole transaction, there are 5 stakeholders now playing in. One stakeholder is Prakash, who's a corporate banker to Zista Education. Second stakeholder is Amit Ahuja, who's representing Zista Education to talk to a bank.
Right.
Third stakeholder is Himanshu Singhal, who's representing the Forex sales stakeholder. Fourth is a person, let's say, Jitesh, who's part of the Forex trading team, who's helping him on to seek a quote for Amit Ahuja. And then the fifth stakeholder, which is primarily not visible so much on the scene, is a person of the balance sheet management group. Because when Jitesh from the trading team purchases those dollars from me, those dollars are actually moved by way of a digital transaction from the bank's trading account to the bank's sales account.
Makes sense. So there's a larger kitty which is there in the trading account, and small portions of that would move into the sales account in different, depending upon the transactions that are happening, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, then the money moves from bank sales account to another bank's sales account. In this case, the example was Dell, and Dell is having a bank with Bank of America. So Bank of America's sales account will receive those dollars on behalf of Dell.
Right.
And Bank of America will inform Dell. Okay.
Right.
There are few more words or concepts like nostro and postro. They are a little more technical for this podcast. Would like to refrain from this. I've tried to keep things very, very simple by sharing this perspective. Yeah.
Sure.
So now I have so far I've shared the activity. Okay.
Right.
What is the activity required at the balance sheet management team, the Forex sales team, and the Forex trading team? Now, what are the things one can plan for in terms of taking up a career in Forex management? Okay.
Right.
Interestingly, we are talking at a time where conventional jobs, okay, are being reviewed from whether a robot can do those functions, right?
Absolutely.
So back in 2008 and 9, we started a project of digital Forex platform where I was part of the testing team, and it was a great experience. So rather than somebody quoting to you, Amit, on a call for $50,000, you will go to a platform where you will look at the quotes and accept. So basically, we are eliminating many things. We're eliminating mistakes, errors, and omissions. We are eliminating the human intervention by there is a delay of time. You ask me a quote, then I say, I go and seek a quote. There is a time difference over there. So right now, digital platform is another aspect. Now, robos are also being are being here in terms of executing trades. So robos are playing a big role in Forex trading so far. And because the Forex sales part of it is a very human-centric aspect. you would like to talk to the Forex salesperson, understand their views, what they feel where the market is, what are my biases. No, then you will talk to another salesperson. You will try to have the same questions raised to them. You try to understand their biases. Then probably form your own view as a corporation and then take a call.
Right.
So a big part of Forex sales role at the moment, I feel, is understanding economics, understanding businesses, and understanding people. Because ultimately, as a Forex salesperson, I'll be dealing with people. That is Prakash, who's a corporate banker. Then Jitesh, who's from the Forex trading team. And most importantly, Amit Ahuja from Zista Education, who's going to actually give me the deal.
Sure.
Amit Ahuja may have four or more than one bankers, and he may choose, oh, Himanshu is not as exciting to talk to, maybe I should walk into some other bank. So more often than not, deals are closed with the person who you're comfortable with.
That is so true. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing I realized 4 or 5 years into my career, that pricing doesn't
While it's important, it's not the most important aspect as one would imagine. Like, you'd say that in an ideal world, customers will keep all elements aside and say, where am I getting the best deal, and just go for that. But in actuality, what happens is that that personal element, that comfort, is so important. That
yeah,
human connect is what helps
yeah,
a deal to actually come through, right?
yeah, yeah. So that is a very, very important part. And somebody who joins the sales team will keep hearing this from the sales head regularly. Go and sit with the customer, be visible to the customer. You know how these things work really in sales. Until you're visible and in their mind share, you won't get a deal. Yeah. So yeah.
There was one more thing that you mentioned, Himanshu, which I kind of caught on to, which was about how, as someone in Forex sales, you need to look at how global markets are impacting a specific industry, and you need to have knowledge of different industries. So, would it work like that? You have some people who are specialists in specific sectors, like say someone's focusing on cement and infra and power, whereas there could be another Forex salesperson looking at more new age economy kind of industries. Is that the way how banks structure their sales force?
Um, in terms of the corporate banking teams, the team which interact with
Mm-hmm.
corporations, um, they are structured on a scale of a corporation. So there'll be team which is catering to small and medium
Large
enterprises.
enterprise, then SME,
Yes,
small and medium
yeah,
enterprise. Right.
yes.
Okay.
So, for example, Kotak had a structure where there was categorized into conglomerates, teams catering to only Tata's, Birla's, Reliance, these companies. Second category was large corporates. Large corporates, you will have companies like um, uh, Apar Industries, companies like KPIT Cummins, Zensar.
Sure.
Yeah. And then the small and medium enterprises would be any and every company around 100 crores and below top line. Then there'll be two more categories. One category will be for MNCs, corporations which are specific, which are multinational and which needs a different skill set, right? And then finally, in the last 7, 8 years, we saw another category coming up with the new age companies or startups.
Right.
So, and I'm pretty sure the way things are going, this category of business will merge into one of the top three ones because they will become as good as any other company. Really, startups are
Sure.
uh, still a new business like the Flipkarts, of the world in India, uh, which are categorized into this
Mm.
segment. Yeah. To talk about the specialized knowledge or industry aspect of it. So it does help. It does help. For example, when I was the part of the team as a salesperson, not as a team manager, um, by default, I had a lot of IT companies.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had done some research initially in the initial part of my career, how the IT companies work and how they get contracts and things like that. Then I had the petroleum companies also.
Okay.
Again, I had done some research and natural affinity. When you see a petroleum company in the business portfolio, your sales head, if he remembers, and if he was there at that time, he was, oh no, Himanshu will handle this. Okay. But at the same time, it was very, very important for the sales side, and they did take care of that. Is a broad basing of industries for all of us to learn. So, as an individual contributor, I would have companies from conglomerates, I would have large corporates, I would have companies from MNCs, and small and medium enterprises. Because the nuances of interacting with each of these companies are very different.
That's so interesting. And you're relating to me how, say, for example, Kotak Bank, organize themselves. But in your experience, do you see, say, other private banks or perhaps even public sector banks that may be operating in this space? Do they have a similar approach, or it's each bank has their own, way of organizing this?
ICICI has a similar approach.
Okay.
Yes Bank also has a similar approach.
Okay.
Um, Axis Bank, yes. HDFC, yes. Within the broader categories of having corporations in segments
Right.
basis their turnovers.
Right.
Um, there would be one or two people in each of these teams who are stronger in one of the two industries.
Okay.
I haven't seen any categorizations coming up basis the industry knowledge. Something which happens in investment banking.
Okay.
Investment banking, you will have a banking telecoms expert, and they will be doing deals only of those companies, right?
Right.
Or FMCG or finance and banking.
Okay.
So this kind of a segmentation cutting across industry specific, I haven't seen
Okay.
and also why? Because the structures are quite flat. Yeah. So in a good sales team, uh, today you will have about well, not talking of ICICI of the world because they are Notion. We were um, about 40 people
Okay.
and across India, and with three regional heads, and about about 10 on an average, we each of us, then plus the sales head and the other key heads.
Okay.
So about 35 to 40 people. So it's quite a flat structure, managing the turnover coming up across from these corporations. So slicing them in industry specific knowledge may not be as
It may not be
commercially,
feasible. Right.
relevant. Yeah.
Okay. So I had one more question for you, Himanshu. You've had such a nice, rich career in this space, and at some point of time, did you feel like I've done this for too long? I want to do something different, or what really motivated you to keep going, to keep staying within this domain? So you developed a lot of expertise, but what helped you stay on track, on the course?
So what I'm really happy about is that I have touched every aspect of treasury.
Right.
Whether it is, I started my career with operations. Then during that time, I got an opportunity to work on systems implementation. It's a great experience. Today also
Okay.
I cherish that experience. Then for that system experience, I got a chance to work on processes and accounting,
Okay.
and then moved on to sales way back in 2005. So the first 2 years of my career were formative years where I learned a lot of treasury stuff in and around sales.
Okay.
And what kept me going really, because the adrenaline rush of doing a big transaction, the rush of cracking a client, the rush of giving an innovative solution, right? And what is interesting is that every client, every transaction, and every product is unique in itself. Uh, and talking to people. So that kept me going really. And way back in 2018, I started raising this question, what next? Because the learning curve was obviously getting flat. Uh, yeah, so I thought I started planning for my exit from that role way back in 2018, and so I'm a great migration baby, if you call it, a great resignation, that era. So I took a sabbatical in April 21
Okay.
and picked up all the leaves of the past. I read all the leaves one by one, went over what are my strengths and weaknesses, and then went on to this. So incidentally, uh, I have a lot of love for real estate, and I've been doing a lot of transactions since 2003. So my 5-day job used to be at Kotak, and the 2-day job used to be the real estate projects in Bombay. So, and that is my passion. Yeah. So I thought, why not work something where I'm really liking and passionate about? So that is where I'm setting up currently.
That's so nice, and I'm happy you followed your calling, and you've set up an entrepreneurial venture. I wanted to kind of ask you one last question, if that's okay. If the students are, let's imagine you're a student out there looking to build a career in this space. What kind of what words of wisdom would you give them, saying that, okay, this is what you can do to actually succeed and forge ahead?
Um, See, Forex roles
Hmm.
or investment banking roles are quite glamorous roles. Okay. And because of that, a lot of people think, let me get in these roles and pick up these occasions. But for example, I have no qualms in saying investment banking is very tough for me,
Okay.
right? So knowing this and saying this is very, very important, right? Uh, at the same time, so when I was, I don't even remember how I got to Forex, loving the Forex area, because I do remember even before my management, I was reading about Forex. During my management, I took up a course with ACTM UK. And because in those days, Forex as a subject was not taught as in deep as it is required.
Right.
Uh, right. So I took up this additional course. Then I was so clear through the whole placement season. I remember that I want to do treasury only. And uh, I got a role at Kotak Mahindra Bank. They asked me, what role do you want? I said, I want to be in back office. And everybody was a little surprised.
Hmm.
Yeah. And why one back office you will go? Because I felt that the back office will be able to teach me a lot about Forex and the perspective. That's what happened. I cherish more my period at the back office I spent, and which helped me learn systems, processes, and accounting. So, so the what I'll really talk about, the reason I gave this all this information is about, first of all, the passion.
Okay.
Okay, that is very, very important.
Right.
And a lot of people have asked me, how do you define passion? Right? If something is not letting you sleep,
Mhm.
it's passion.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
Um, yeah, yeah, and you could be by yourself in a room completely, right? Um, for my real estate, basically, if I get to know there is a project coming up, uh, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers away from my home, and if I Google it up, I say, oh, this looks interesting, I will drive there.
Okay.
And if it is a possibility that I will drive there next half an hour.
Okay.
Like yesterday, we went. I'm in Florida right now, and we're looking to purchase single family homes over here. Yesterday, we saw some 20 houses,
Okay.
and the passion took me. Okay, what is there below the carpet? How this room? Is this a dry wall? Is this a metal wall? Is this a wooden wall? right? These are the nuances, right? Similarly, to compare it with I'm just trying to explain passion with the two areas which I'm passionate about. Similarly, to compare it with the Forex role. This company is in this IT industry. What are the roles they are handling right now within IT? Okay, interesting. So they are handling this role, and they may be expanding to Europe very soon. Let me start talking about European region with the CFO.
So you're thinking ahead, right?
Yeah.
Anticipating their need before they actually express it.
Yes.
Okay.
For example, again, I like to give metaphors. So, LZ, I realize that you had your breakfast at probably 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you're meeting me at 12:31 for let's say an hour-long meeting, right? Um, and if I had known that you had, let's say, eggs in the breakfast,
Okay.
then if I offer eggs to you for lunch, and you'll be polite, you'll say, no, I'll prefer something else. But if I offer let's say Mediterranean to you, and if you like the Chinese palate, you will be so ecstatic, I will tell you, Amit, I think you had eggs in the morning because I saw the menu and that's what you like. So why don't you try something else? You'll be at a different level, right? While talking to me.
Right.
You know? So anticipating what people want and then providing it on the platter and engaging with them. I may not have the right solution for them in anticipation of what they're getting into, but I'll start engaging with them.
Sure.
So, and again, this comes from passion.
And again, it leads to customer delight. So, being able to deliver exceptional service, anticipate needs, and being a true partner in that sense, not just being someone who's executing a transaction, but being a partner. I think that's where you're heading towards, right?
So, I don't like this is like chicken and egg. What came first? Passion came first, or customer delight came first?
I think passion came first, right? And passion led to customer delight.
Exactly. There are some people who say, customer delight came first, and for that boy or that girl really went down the aisle and said, "Okay, boss, I need to really work," and they gather the knowledge. But they'll be far and few on that category. So I really feel passion is the primary one, and that leads to customer delight.
Makes sense. All right. This has really been a really nice discussion. I'm sure we could have got down into a lot more technicalities, but in the context of, what we're focusing on in this podcast, talking about the different careers, I think you did a really nice job using some good examples, explaining what are the different roles that exist within Forex and Treasury and what students can do, in this space. So thank you for making time for this episode, Himanshu. I really enjoyed this discussion.
Thank you, MC. Also, like to add, in the last few years of my career, we were hiring people who are non-Forex background.
Okay.
So it was a great joy to work with them, train them into the Forex roles. Okay. And so the reason I'm sharing this is I'm open for, in case somebody wants to talk to me, basically to forge their career ahead in the Forex treasury. Okay. I'm happy to talk to them. So feel free to share my coordinates with them.
Okay.
And giving reference of Zista education, they can connect with me.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for volunteering that. Yeah.
But
I hope, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Zista Podcast. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube to get more content like this. And if you'd like to catch this episode on audio, you can most certainly tune in to us on Apple, Spotify, or Google. Our handle is the Zista Podcast. Thanks, Himanshu. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show. And for all the students out there, I'd say, till we meet again, stay curious.